Hey guys, Chris here. Sorry I've been away for a little while. Had vacation and work and then more vacation, so I just wanted to come back strong. This is a video I've kind of wanted to do since I started getting on YouTube. I've seen a lot of guys do knife review videos. This is something I kind of wanted to share with y'all. I've actually got a ton of knives, and this is a minute amount of my collection. And I just wanted everybody out there to know that you don't have to spend a ton of money on a knife to get a good knife. Something you carry every day. This is my new everyday carry knife. It's the Kershaw Drone, and it was around $27. It's a good knife. It is made in China, but it's checked by Kershaw whenever it comes in, so they make sure that the specs and the standards are up there. So that is what I do carry now. Over the years, I've carried a lot of different things, though, and I don't want to get into too much, but a lot of people are going to look at this one, wow, that's a piece of crap. Yeah, it was. I think I got it for like $7 at like an Eagles or something down at the beach. But whenever I pulled this out, this was a game changer. You pull that out, and people see that blade, it makes them think whether they want to fight you or not. Makes people step back. This knife is long since seen it. They actually was thinking about doing this video, trying to get around to doing it, and digging through one of my bags and found it, fished it out. I was like, wow, I didn't even know I still had that. So I wanted to throw it in, but it was a cheap knife. And a lot of knives that you carry for pocket in your pocket for everyday carry are gonna be cheap knives, just because you're not gonna be all pissed off and you're not gonna break your back if you lose them. The reason I'm calling this my under $20 knife video is because all these knives, every single one of them that you see on this table, can be found anywhere on the internet for under 20 bucks. Most of them a lot cheaper than that. This was, I think, $7, like I said, and this was probably 10 years ago that I got this knife. However, you can go with something as recently that I purchased as 4 or 5 years ago. It's an M-Tech. You can find it on Amazon for a little over $8. This is actually one of the best purchases I've made in a while. It's got aluminum handles, but the blade came out of the box razor sharp. It's not near sharp anymore because I've carried it for a little while. It's not spring assisted, but it does have the button on the back, and it assists you in opening it when you flick your wrist. You press down on that. It's got a nice jimping on the button. It's fairly tactical, really. It's got a lanyard hole. For an $8 knife, I'm thoroughly impressed with this one. It's got a pocket clip. It is not reversible, but dude, it's an $8 knife. I mean, come on, what more could you expect out of it? All the way down to this knife, flea market knife. This knife has seen a ton of action. This knife was first. This knife came right after it. For about 3 years, I actually carried this knife. It has gotten loose. It's the clip as loose as I'll get out on it now, but it's a push button, and it pushes open and pushes to lock. It's dull. Actually, it's not terribly dull now. The serrations are still fairly sharp too, but the OD paint is wearing off of it. This knife is actually surprisingly useful. I've had it in my range bag for a while now, and it's something that I just have in there as a backup knife. Never really need it, but I've carried this for 5 years, and it's incredibly useful. And like I said, you don't have to spend a ton of money on these knives. This one was, I think, $4 at a flea market. This one was, I think, $4 at maybe even $3 at a flea market. It's modeled after the Frost. It says Frost Cutlery Flying Falcon. Yeah, pretty sure it's not a Flying Falcon, but it's more of a tactical knife, very large, and much like this one, you pull it out, it's a game changer in a fight. People see this knife and they're gonna be like, okay, this guy means business. There's a strong detent on that lockback. But moving on, another selection of knives. And you don't have to get just cheap flea market knives, much like these three are. You can get M-Tech, which is an okay knife, decent steel. But you can also get a Gerber. This is not meant to be a one-handed opener. It's a Gerber 500. Once again, had it for years. This is the one that saves primarily my hunting pack. It's actually dulled down. I need to get on a knife sharpening kick here in a little bit. And also another Gerber Paraframe. Dull again. Imagine that. Wow, I gotta sharpen all of my knives. But this Gerber Paraframe is really nice. This is probably the most expensive one. Either this or the Gerber 500. They're around 20 bucks. This one I can find just a little bit cheaper, around 15 maybe. But Gerber makes great knives, and there's no reason you should think that you cannot find a really, really great pocket knife to carry every single day of the week for under 20 bucks. Here's another very viable option: the Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops 1028, Amazon.com. It's got aluminum handles, it's got a steel liner, but decent serrations, tonneau blade. Now that one's sharp. And it's just because it never sees use. I got that the same time I got that, and the same time I also got my other everyday carry that I was carrying for a while, the Smith & Wesson M&P, the M&P 2S. These three I got all at the same time, and this one was my primary carry. The reason was it was $35. So of course, I mean, I spent the most money on it. It's got the best features, the best feel. You can't go wrong. And it had the spring assisted opening, which needs to be oiled up a little bit. But something like this is $35. That's a good knife. But I don't have to spend $35. I can spend $10.28 or $8 or $4 and get a great knife. Also, another one that I bought recently, the Smith & Wesson Homeland Security. It was about $13, but it is a very large tactical knife. Much like this knife and this knife, it's a game changer. When you bring it into a fight, people see it, and that's really what you want. You really want people to see that knife. That's the only reason I carry these big knives. This is my new primary tactical folding knife, I guess you would say, just because of its flat out size and heft. If you break that out in a fight, people see it, people know it's there, and it'll stop a fight before you actually have to get to a physical confrontation, more than likely. If that doesn't slow them out, then I guess go to another primary defensive weapon. But most of the time, when you break out a knife that looks like that, one that looks that mean, it's gonna stop a fight. It's a very sizable knife. This one's awesome for the simple fact that there's no liner. The pocket clip's built into the frame. For a cheap knife, this knife is like air compared to this knife. Hell, even this knife. But I carried this the other day just to see how it carried, and man, I mean, I didn't even realize I had it on me. I actually almost threw this in the washing machine with my pants because it was so light. That's one of the downsides I see, because it's not quite as heavy as some of these that I like. I like the heft. Now, while we're not having to spend $20 on a knife, you don't get the quality you get in a Kershaw with most of these knives. You don't get the quality you get in a Smith & Wesson M&P with most of these knives. You don't get the versatility that you get in a Leatherman. This is actually my new Leatherman kick. I got it, it was on sale for like $14 on Walmart. But the steel in these knives is about the same as this. They're not great steels, but on a day-to-day basis, they'll get the job done. I just wanted to go through and let the average consumer know that you don't have to spend a ton of money on a good knife. Like I said, this one and this one are two of my cheapest knives, $7, and I think like $4. And I've carried them for years. This one has JB Weld on it because I liked it so much. I've pulled this out in so many fights, and it's stopped so many physical altercations from actually occurring that I couldn't let it go. I lost the screw. I JB welded the darn thing back together, like I said. The pocket clip's breaking off. But this knife, if I could find another one, I'd get it. I'm not gonna lie. It's for $7 or however much I spent. It was probably one of the best deals I've ever gotten. But I just wanted to do this and let y'all know that you don't have to spend a ton of money to get a decent knife. Go out there, get you something that you can carry in your pocket every single day. You're not going to break the bank on. You don't have to spend the money like on a Kershaw, but you do need to get a good knife. And any one of these are fairly viable options if you don't mind sharpening them a lot. So that's my take on it. If y'all have any questions, just please let me know. Alright, y'all have a good day.